it's so nice to see you all, and I'm gonna put these on real quick. Yeah, I haven't talked to you guys in ages, and it's awesome, and I know that's not necessarily awesome, but it's awesome that I am talking to you now. Well, or at least I hope it is. It would be very counterproductive if it wasn't, but I feel like talking to a camera, so yay! I know, I'm silly. But yeah, you're probably wondering why in the world I'm making 3 videos where I'm still wearing the same face paint, because it's like all on the same day. That's why it's 3 videos. Yeah, we uploaded in one day. Yeah, made in one day. It's both. I had a pep assembly at school today, and it was awesome, and I liked it, and I enjoyed it a lot, even though I sat there reading the entire time as usual. It was more interesting than normal, though. The drumline did something interesting at the school. Like, they actually did a song and did, like, a whole entire marching sequence by themselves, the drumline, in the middle of the pep assembly, which that's not been done. As far as I know. I mean, I haven't seen it at all since ever, and they did it today, and I'm just like, that's like the only part of the entire show I watched, like, beyond the awesome Star Spangled Banner at the beginning, you know, because you've got to pay attention when that goes on, especially if you're an American. But yes, well, I was at school, and my friend brought face paint, and red, black, and white are my school colors, so pep assembly, face paint, all goes together. I just didn't feel like taking it off, even though it's smudged and doesn't necessarily look as awesome as it did before, and red and white make pink. Yes. It's awesome. I originally had a red triangle going down like that, and like that. And then up here I filled it in with white. And yes, the red eyebrows are still there above my regular ones, and I did a loopy thing you can probably see, and then white on the inside filling it in. They weren't necessarily even in the first place, so yeah. And a white line, and it looked weird, so I put 3 white dots at the bottom, and it's still kind of smudged. Everything kind of smudged except for this cheek, because it's not this hand that consistently touches my face all day. It's this one, because I lean on it. I'm in school. Yeah, yes. All delightfulness like that. But yes, the pep assembly was awesome, and my face paint looks awesome too, and I quite enjoy it. So, I haven't talked in ages, so I shall do so now, after that long intro and explanation for my awesome face paint. Yes. Well, my dad bought me my 5th diary, and it looks really cool, and I started writing in it already, like, a few days ago, and I'm just like, yay! It's so cool and exciting. See, it's pretty. Really, really pretty. And all, yes. It matches on both sides, all the way around. I think it's a really, really cool book. Like, look at the rim now. Yes. The pages are all, like, yellowish like that, even though they're technically not really old or anything. They don't look old, they just are yellow, which is weird. I don't see why they made yellow pages. Like, oh, yellow pages, whatever. Yeah. So, first thing I did was, so I walked outside and I noticed our roses were blooming. The red ones, the white ones, the yellow ones, all of them blooming amazingly. So, what I did was I picked one on the end on my way to school, and I decided I would press it in the front of my diary, which I labeled at the bus stop, because I'm like so excited to actually start writing into it, and I ended up starting like right on the next page, so since it's my diary, I'm not actually going to show you what that looks like, but I labeled it, and I put number 5 in all the corners, and Valentine's diary in runes and in non-runes. It looks cool. And my pressed flower seems to go perfect right there, or at least I think so. I quite like it. what I've noticed about pressing flowers is it's much different from pressing leaves. Leaves are much more flat, so it's already pretty easy to press and not lose any of the bounciness and fullness and liveliness of it. I mean, it certainly gets harder, but that's how it preserves itself and its color. So I'm kind of wondering if my rose is working out as well, because it was a much lighter red of a color, and it's probably still going to die, because I have no idea whether or not it's working, the pressing or not, because it's getting harder, and it is preserving some color, and it got darker. And the thing about flowers, they're different from leaves in the way that they poof. They poof out, they have more volume, so it's kind of hard to like actually adjust them so they're flat when you put them in something. It's hard to keep that beautiful shape. Hence why mine looks so much smaller. It used to be like this large, like the size of my hand. That's like where you would see the green leaves coming out of it had I successfully pressed it perfectly. But it's my first pressing rose flower thing, so I've pressed plenty of leaves, but flower new, yes. So I think it's completely awesome. And yeah. Another thing, my daddy helped me with a new wand, and I think it looks cool. I know, it's long and delightful. Long and delightful. It's super shiny, and it's made out of honeysuckle, like a honeysuckle branch. When we had been, yeah, the whole thing. When we were trimming our honeysuckle bushes up front, we ended up taking a whole ton of branches off because the plant had died, except a new one was growing where it was, so it's kind of like a whole little cycle thing with the death and rebirth, and like, yay. It was really cool looking, like, watching that whole process. Like, I remember when we first planted them, but, well, actually Mom planted them, but I remember when she first planted them, and it was so delightful. Yes, but beyond that, it's a honeysuckle branch, and Chance decided he wanted to clip one off, and he shortened all the knobs for me, and was like, Valentine, make a wand out of this. I'm like, okay, so I grab it, and I'm like, so I ended up sitting outside for 4 or 5 hours, and I managed to remove the bark off of only that much before my dad came outside and was just noticed what I was doing, went back inside, and grabbed a Dremel and was like, hey Valentine, you want some help? This would make it so much faster. And he shows me how to use it, and then he shows me all the different settings on the Dremel to make it like softer and softer and softer and shinier and shinier and shinier. It's like levels of sandpaper, and I thought it was just so delightful that my dad would help me making this wand, and and it works really well. But he certainly sped up my process, and I guess it was quite nice. I probably shouldn't hit myself upside the head with a wand. So, that's stuff that's happened recently, and I've been getting into poetry again, and yes, I love poetry. I haven't looked at poetry in years, and I'm just like, because when I started getting back into the whole poetry thing, you know, as I was looking through my first diary, well, not my first one, but my fourth one, at the very beginning of it, at the very front, I had written all of my poetry. And all of it's very, very, it just made me feel so good. I like poetry, but yes. So, pretty much, that's all for now that I'm going to share with you. There is way more I could say. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So, blessed be.